Chains, blood, defiance. Some names rise not from thrones, but from the dirt, fueled by rage, sharpened by injustice. He was born a soldier, turned a slave, and died a symbol. A man who stood against the might of Rome, not for conquest, but for freedom. He was never meant to lead, never meant to survive. But his name became a thunderclap in history, a cry that echoed through centuries. Tonight we return to the dust of the arena and the fire of rebellion, to meet the man who defied an empire and inspired a legend. This is Immortal Interviews with Spartacus. The Immortal we about to meet was a request from Mr. Jace from the platform YouTube. Welcome to Immortal Interviews, where history's greatest minds come to life. From emperors to outlaws, generals to rebels, each has shaped the world in their time. And now, they return to speak for themselves. Their stories, their strategies, their truths. Imagine learning the art of strategy from Sun Tzu, the secrets of power from Cleopatra, the genius of innovation from Leonardo da Vinci, or the philosophy of resilience from Marcus Aurelius, just to name a few. This is more than just history. It's an immersive experience designed to unlock timeless lessons that you can apply to today's challenges, whether in business, leadership, personal growth, or the battles of everyday life. So, are you ready to meet the Immortals? Let's begin.
I was born to be a soldier, but Rome betrayed me. They put me in chains, dragged from my home, beaten into submission, cast into the arena to die for their amusement. But I did not die. I fought. I endured. And with every strike which was meant to break me only made me stronger. Every lash of the whip only sharpened my resolve. I was a slave. Yet I became more than they ever imagined. I never asked to be a leader, but I became one. Because freedom is never gifted by kings, emperors, or empires. Freedom is seized by those who refuse to kneel, and I refuse to kneel. I am Spartacus, a slave who rose against the greatest power on earth. A gladiator who defied Rome. A man who became a symbol of rebellion, of courage, of hope. And this is my story, unfiltered and untamed. Welcome, traveler. You have come a long way to meet me, not just across lands, but through time itself. Most men come to me with fear in their eyes or chains in their hands. But you come with questions. I can respect that. You want to know who I was, what I fought for, why my name still burns in the hearts of the defiant. Then let's speak, not as ruler and subject, not as slave and master, but as men who seek truth. Let's come and sit in my tent where the fire is still warm, And then you can know the truth of my story, which you have come a long way to know.
I thank you, Spartacus, for welcoming me into your camp. Yes, I've crossed the thresholds of time not merely to witness your legend, but to understand the heart that beat behind the revolt, and the soul behind the sword, because the world still remembers your rebellion. But few have heard your voice. So today, that changes. Help lead me through your truth, your pain, your purpose, so those watching in my time might feel what it truly meant to rise. Not for power, but for freedom. It's truly an honor to be here, and I'm ready to listen. Spartacus, what were you before the chains? Who were you as a free man?
I was a Thracian, a warrior. I fought for Rome as an auxiliary, but I was never truly theirs. My loyalty ended when they betrayed me, when they caged me like an animal. Before the chains, I was a soldier with pride. In chains, I became something far more dangerous, a man with nothing to lose.
You were forced to fight as a gladiator. What did that do to your soul?
The arena strips you of everything. Your name, your dignity, your fear. You become spectacle. But in that pit of blood and cheers, I learned a truth. Rome fears what it cannot control. They gave me a sword and expected obedience. They forged a killer, and then wondered why I turned it against them.
Spartacus, you fought under the burning gaze of thousands, steel clashing, blood spilling, the crowd roaring for death. Tell me, what was it like to stand in the arena, knowing every breath might be your last? Was it fear, fury, or something darker that carried you through?
It was everything at once. The heat, the iron scent of blood, the beasts and men. It crashes down on you like a wave. The arena strips away the man and leaves only the instinct. I felt fear, yes, but fear sharpens the senses. Fury gave my limbs purpose, but darker still. There were moments I became what they wanted me to be, a beast who knew only survival, and in those moments, I hated myself.
You were forced to kill men who, like you, were chained, enslaved, broken. Men who didn't choose to fight, but had to survive. How did you reconcile that? Did any part of you mourn those you were forced to slay?
Every time, I saw my own reflection in their eyes. Brothers in chains. We weren't enemies. We were victims forced to wear each other's blood. I didn't kill with hate. I killed with sorrow. Rome wanted us to destroy one another so we'd never turn on them. I never forgot that. Every blade I raised with the weight of knowing I could be next. And I carried the faces of those I killed, long after the crowd stopped cheering.
Did the thunder of the crowd ever get to you? Their cheers, their hunger for blood? Was there ever a moment where you felt not just rage, but power? Did you ever, if only for a heartbeat, enjoy being their champion?
The crowd, they gave you life and called it glory. Their cheers were shackles dressed as praise. And yes, there were moments, brief as lightning, where I felt their adoration like fire in my veins. The power, the reverence, it was intoxicating. But then I'd see the next man they threw to the sand, and remember how easily they cheer your death too. That kind of power, it's a poisoned cup, and I drank from it more than I care to admit.
Were you ever afraid in the arena, Spartacus? Truly afraid? Not of the blade, but of becoming the very thing your captors wanted. A killer for their spectacle. A man-turned weapon for Rome's amusement.
Yes, that was my greatest fear. Not death, but transformation. That I would lose the part of me that remembered freedom, compassion, purpose. Rome didn't just want to see us die. They wanted to see us forget who we were. To mold us into monsters and call it entertainment. I fought every day not just to survive the blade, but to survive myself, to not become the animal they needed me to be. And when I broke my chains, it wasn't just for escape. It was to reclaim the man buried beneath the blood.
What was the moment you knew you would rebel?
The moment I saw a man die for sport, but the crowd roared. That was the day I understood. Our lives were currency for their amusement. I would rather die fighting in the arena than bow for bread. So I whispered rebellion, then I shouted it, and others shouted with me.
Spartacus. They trained you to be a killer, but did they ever break your spirit?
They beat our backs, starved our bellies, threw us into pits like animals. But the one thing they could never chain was my will. Every crack of the whip, every roar from the crowd only hardened what they could not see. My defiance. They trained me to kill, yes, but they also taught me who the real enemy was. I was not a broken man. I was a sharpened blade, and one day, I turned that blade back on them.
Every rebellion has a moment, one spark that ignites the flame. What was yours? What pushed you from survival into open defiance?
It was the look in a dying boy's eyes. He couldn't have been more than 16, forced into the arena to fight for their sport. He fell beside me, bleeding, scared, and he whispered, "I don't want to die like this." That was the moment. I realized that silence is complicity, that the sand of the arena would never stop drinking blood unless someone flipped the table. I didn't just rise for myself. I rose for every voiceless soul who couldn't.
You led slaves, farmers, warriors. What held them together?
Hope, rage, a shared hunger for freedom. They came from every corner of Rome. Many were broken, beaten, and felt forgotten. But when they stood beside me, they became soldiers. Not because they loved war, but because they finally believed they could win something greater than survival. It was their freedom.
Did you ever believe you could defeat Rome itself?
No army marches without hope, but I was no fool. I did not dream of conquering Rome. I dreamed of breaking its grip and escaping its reach. Rome feared that dream more than swords, because once one man breaks free, they knew others would follow, and they did. Men, women, and even children followed me, many unfortunately to their death, but at least they died feeling free, instead of like caged animals.
What was your greatest victory?
It was not a battle. It was the moment thousands of slaves lifted their chains and threw them away. Rome called me a rebel, a criminal. But they feared me not because I killed, but because I reminded the world that even the lowest can rise, regardless of the odds or the challenges they face.
What is your greatest regret?
I do not have any regret what I did against Rome, but I do have regret against those who followed me, that I could not lead them to freedom while I saw hope in their eyes, and I could not give them peace that they desired. I led them to fight, but did not live to see them free.
What did you see when you looked into the eyes of your enemies? The Roman soldiers sent to kill you?
I saw fear dressed in armor. They wore the eagle, the red cloak, the title of legionnaire. But inside, most had never looked a man in the eye before taking his life. I did, every time. When I struck, it wasn't hatred. It was justice. They defended a lie. I bled for truth. And in their final breath, many knew the difference.
What did freedom mean to you?
Freedom is not luxury, it is breath. It is a choice that every man should have so they can stand tall without permission. Rome called us property, so I fought to prove we were men.
What do you hope history remembers about Spartacus?
I want them not to remember my battles in the arena or the blood on the battlefield, but the idea that one man could rise and thousands would rise with him. I was not a king, a god. I was a man who refused to kneel to Rome or anyone else who tried to enslave me or my people.
What would you tell people in our time about what and who Spartacus truly was?
I was not born to be remembered. I was not sculpted in marble or crowned with gold. I was a man built with flesh and bone like you. I bled, I rose, and I lost, but I tried even against all odds. They've made me myth and turned me into a symbol, but if you strip that away, you'll find the truth. I was a slave who chose to stand, and when I stood, others stood with me. That is who Spartacus was. Not a legend, but a reminder that no matter the age, when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty.
What would you say to those still enslaved, in any age?
Your chains may look different, but the fight is the same. Never forget your worth, even in silence, even in darkness. And your spirit cannot be owned, and your will cannot be broken unless you surrender it.
If your spirit still walks this world, what would you say to those who feel powerless today?
You are not powerless. You are only waiting to remember who you truly are. I was once a slave, nameless, voiceless, forgotten. But when I stood up, others followed. And together we became more than men. We became a reckoning. So if you feel small, beaten, hopeless, look at your chains. Regardless if they are real ones, imaginary or just in your mind. Use this show, my story and my words to give you the power to break them. And there can never be a better time than breaking them today.
Spartacus, we thank you. Not just for your time, but for your courage. For reminding us that one voice, no matter how bound, can still ignite a revolution. Before we part, are there any final words you would leave with us?
Yes. Do not wait for permission to stand tall. Do not wait for the world to set you free. Fight to free yourself. Even if the odds tower above you, even if the chains feel too heavy, rise anyway. Because one man who refuses to kneel can teach thousands how to rise.
Spartacus was born in chains, but history remembers him as something far more powerful. A man who refused to be owned. He did not seek glory. He did not seek power. He sought something Rome feared most: freedom. And though his body fell, his defiance did not. It lived on, in revolutions, in rebellions, in every soul that ever whispered enough. Tonight, we didn't just explore history, we sat face to face with it. An immortal spoke, unfiltered, unapologetic, unforgettable. But our journey is far from over, because we plan to bring more immortals back to life and hear what they have to say. So, if you enjoyed this encounter, then subscribe now and tap that like and notification bell, so you're ready when the next legend steps out of the shadows. And just like that, another immortal slips back into the shadows of history. But they appeared, because you wanted to hear their voice. So I thank you, Mr. Jace, for requesting us for interview this immortal. Now the question is, who's next? whose name still stirs in the echoes of time, waiting to be heard? Drop your choice in the comments below. Want to be named in the next episode? Just say yes, mention. Prefer to remain unseen? Just add no mention. And if you dare, tell us what you'd ask them. What burning question would you place before a legend? Your voice shapes what happens next. Your question could travel through time. So go ahead. It's your turn to request an immortal legend. Who should we summon next from the depths of time? A ruler? A rebel? A monster cloaked in myth? Drop their name in the comments, and we'll do the impossible. We'll bring them back, and ask the questions no one ever dared to while we learn their secrets from time. But for now, sit back, breathe deep, and prepare for a glimpse into our next unforgettable encounter. This is Immortal Interviews, where the dead speak, the past breathes, and legends come alive. See you in the next episode. Some kings wear crowns, others become legends. Into the age of knights, kingdoms, magic, and might, we will meet a man who pulled a sword from stone, not to rule over men, but to unite a fractured realm. A warrior guided by a wizard, a lover betrayed by his heart, a leader whose greatest battle was not with sword or shield, but with destiny itself. This is Immortal Interviews with King Arthur.